Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome back to round 12 of season 7 of our F124 Haas driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Austria, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, the third sprint race, of the campaign, and it was a rather interesting one. We've been able to get 4 wins in a row with the Haas organisation. Oscar Piastri, his championship lead, had been absolutely slashed over the last few Grand Prix weekend. And then he came back in Austria, qualified 5th, took P1 before turn 2, and then basically just waved goodbye to everybody, like that Harry Potter meme when he gets on the train. So he now has a 13-point buffer back at the top of the table. McLaren's still leading the constructors as well by 10 points over ourselves, but that battle is looking more and more fierce as we continue on through this campaign. Ferrari only a further 9 points behind us at the moment. We've got just over half a season to go of the F124 career mode. I'm really hoping we can try and bring home this World Championship for Haas. Get yourself subscribed if you're new around here as well, and if you want to help support us just a little bit more, you can click the join button down below for just £1 a month. You get early access to all the videos as well as a couple of other cool little perks. But yeah, let's head then back to my home race.
A one-time airfield fully owned by cars in this era. One of the finest ribbons of racetrack anywhere on Earth. It's high speed, it's dramatic, it's Silverstone.
Well, here we are then for one-shot qualifying around one of the fastest circuits on the F1 calendar. I don't know if I've ever had pole at Silverstone. I think I did in one of our seasons for Ferrari, but if ever I want to try and get another one, today has surely got to be that day. You've just got to be so committed though around a lap of this venue. And I mean, Oscar Piastri, both of those McLaren drivers as well, they will be looking to try and get a pole position as well this afternoon. So yeah, we've only got about a minute and 20 seconds, less than that, before we find out who is going to be claiming pole position here. That first sector looked pretty competitive. Left field we go. I like to try and hug the apex for as long as you can before we get on the throttle on the exit. Up past the old start-finish line then into the old turn 1. Easy flat out in this car. They even missed the apex by a little bit on the way through the entry there, and still completely with your foot to the floor. No lift through the first, no lift through the second, no lift through the third. Down a couple of gears through the final part of Maggots and Beckett's. That is ridiculous, the amount of grip this car has. As we make our way then out onto the hangar straight though. Just a few more corners to try and navigate now. Braking at the 50-meter board. Flick the car in from as far out as you possibly can. Run it just over the curbing on the exit. Nice straight line braking through a couple of the slowest corners of the lap. Get the power down out of the final corner. Will it be good enough for pole position here at Silverstone? Yes, it is. Well, there we go then. P1 here at the British Grand Prix. 3 Brits lining up inside your top 3, just like we saw last year here at the real-life event. Pierre Gasly, our teammate, will line up 4th, just ahead of Charles Leclerc there. Oscar Piastri will be a little bit disappointed down in P6, just ahead of Enzo Fittipaldi and Lewis Hamilton there. But yeah, really happy with that qualifying lap. It does go to show, if I absolutely nail them on this game, we can claim pole position. It's just not always likely that that's going to happen. But yeah, a lot of drivers kind of with their teammates as well as we get ready for the GP. Both Aston Martins there and both V-Carbs as well. But let's see what we can do then as we head into the race.
We meet again at Silverstone for one of the great Formula One races of the entire calendar. With a barely believable capacity crowd creating a phenomenal atmosphere, it is time for a race that puts a smile on your face. It is time for the British Grand Prix. Let's have a look at the circuit. 18 corners, 3.6 miles. The DRS detection zones are at Village and Maggots. That's turn 3 and turn 11. Cops Corner, turn 9 is taken as near to flat out as you dare. It is a test of the driver's bravery out there. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Firestarter lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Gasly, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Fittipaldi, Hamilton, Sargent, Fernando Alonso, Teo Porcher, Iwasa, Ricciardo, Behrman, Tsunoda, Perez, Stroll, Vesti, Ocon and Zhou Guanyu. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Right, mate, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but I want you to treat it like any other race. Let's not make any unnecessary risks, please.
Well, I know I've said it before, and I'll say it again to Mark. It's the British Grand Prix. I'm going to take risk. We want to win this one today, especially with Oscar Piastri starting a little bit further down the order. I would love to try and claim the championship lead, I believe for the first time this year, if we can convert this one into victory. 26 laps ahead of us. The sun is shining here around the 3.3 miles of the Silverstone circuit. 5 red lights, though, on the grid. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go for the British Grand Prix. They're trying to avoid getting too much wheel spin in the initial phase, and it looks like we will be able to try and hang around the outside of George Russell through turn 1 and turn 2 there. Pierre Gasly has moved past the second McLaren car as Russell will dive it to the inside in towards the loop. Again, though, we will try and keep the front end of the car alongside him there. Make sure we give each other good, clean racing respect through these first few corners there. This is like Hamilton and Verstappen back in 2021. Hopefully, we won't end up having an incident down in towards the old turn 1 there as Russell again trying to commit the long way around and in towards Luffield there. We will then have the outside line through the second part of the corner. We're still side by side as we try and put the power down on the exit then. Just trying to hang alongside him as we make our way up into the old turn 1. Can we try and make this happen there? Round the outside, Russell. Oh, he understeered a little bit on the entry there. I worried for a split second that he was going to understeer out wide into me, but what a few opening corners to the British Grand Prix there. Wheel to wheel, side by side, both of us fully committed, but we will come out on top in that scenario. It won't take long, though, before Russell is hassling me, and here comes Pierre Gasly, the Frenchman, to the inside there. 3 wide on lap 1. I don't want to risk contact with him, and Pierre's barged his way through and up into the lead then of the GP. What a start from our teammate then to move up into top spot there. I'm sure the home crowd, they will want to see one of their fellow Brits win this one. Long to lap 3 then, of course, near impossible to try and escape, especially around a circuit like Silverstone, when obviously the DRS zones are at opposite ends of the circuit. Makes it even easier for the car in P2 just to try and hang on behind you there. But yeah, with Gasly moving up to the front very early on, this gives us a bit more confidence in the Constructors' Championship fight as well. Obviously, we've won Drivers' World Championships before and not won the Constructors, although admittedly on F1 24, that only happened the once when we were down at Mercedes, so maybe we can try and win half the Constructors by the end of this season as well. They're down the inside of our teammate Pierre Gasly and up then back into P1 of this GP. Kind of the first real test is just making sure you're with the front runners by the time the first round of stops come.
Norris, and let's try and be consistent as you use it moving forward.
Well, the games all of ERS and DRS chicken here early on are already heating up as Pierre Gasly, a bit of a lunge to get to the inside down at the end of the Wellington straight there. George Russell fancied his chances trying to get involved in that fight as well then. But again, especially I find the second one to be a bit more powerful than the first as Russell, I mean, he's willing to show the nose, which I guess is quite a brave choice around this circuit, especially into the old turn 1. Because I will kind of have to chop it across him there. I can't really afford just to kind of give him the room on the off chance that he does commit to it there. But Pierre Gasly again then, I mean, sensibly, we just want to work together here, keep just using each other for DRS down the straights and kind of hope that we don't end up being vulnerable to any of the other cars. As Russell and Norris maybe just start to slip away a little bit. We've just got to wait for an opportunity to try and break free. But this is F1 24. That might never happen. Oh, here comes Pierre Gasly again then. He likes to go for a really, really weird strategy of he'll kind of sit back in for one lap. I can only assume he's trying to recharge the battery pack, and then he'll try and commit to it. That time round, I will try and hang it around the outside down at the bottom of the circuit, and we will hang on to the position. Only thing I'm also worried about is actually the tyre temperature here. We're just kind of right on the limit of getting into the overheating territory, so that will make things a little bit worse, especially on that left-hand side, which does tend to take more of a beating around this circuit as well then. So hopefully the mediums won't be as bad then. You can just see 115 degrees as there goes Pierre once again back around the outside. But yeah, we're not too... No! Icy's gone. It's over. Lap 7 of the Grand Prix. I mean, what am I meant to do? Home Grand Prix is the second time it's happened here at Silverstone on this game. I remember it happened once at Ferrari as well. And we haven't even, you know, got to a point where the win looked probable or anything like that. I mean, we were leading most of the early laps. But we are out of the British Grand Prix. A hammer blow to our World Championship hopes. And Oscar Piastri, I'm sure he is smiling under the helmet of that Ferrari.
Left front wheel. We need to try and put that behind us though and finish the race strong.
Great, Mark. The engine's gone pop. I don't know if you know that, bro. At the back of the car. Please, for F125 EA, make the engine failures, make the AI be a little bit more sensible. Why wouldn't they just pull me into the garage at this point? Is it going to do anything? Or are we just going to have to continue driving just a little bit longer before it finally accepts defeat? Have I broken it? No, of course not. I did genuinely think for a second there I might have broken the mechanical failures on this game, but we are out of the British Grand Prix. I think that's our second mechanical failure of the year. That is devastating.
He'd won a sprint before, but now it's time for Grand Prix success. Oscar Piastri takes the win.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course. And it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, you know, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix. And they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
Well, there we are then. I have no idea how Oscar Piastri managed it, but from 6th and 7th on the grid, Ferrari, they're going to bag a 1-2 and the full 44 points from this GP weekend there. Pierre Gasly, our teammate, does get a podium in the end, so I'm sure McLaren will be left with scratching their heads as to how they didn't get either car inside the top 3. Charles Leclerc just ahead of Sargent and Lewis Hamilton, with Alonso and Sergio Perez rounding out your top 10 there. Were we the only car to have a mechanical failure? Yes, of course we were. Yeah, that has been a hammer blow to both of our championship standings there. Drivers' table, we are still in P2, but the gap now 39 points to Oscar Piastri, and I really did think this was going to be a weekend where we could try and take the lead at the top of the table there. Gasly, though, up into P5 now ahead of Charles Leclerc, but still a fair old way behind George Russell and Lando Norris. Constructors-wise, Ferrari now take the top stop ahead of McLaren. They're just 3 points in it, though, between them. We are 20 points off the top of the table, though, so we are down, but certainly not out. Thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. Apologies that it's going to be such a short one, but I can't do anything about F124 and its RNG as well there. But yeah, we will return, we will come back stronger next time out, ready for the Hungarian Grand Prix.